Uh, Parul ma'am, are you there? Parul ma'am, please start program. Okay ma'am, please wait.
Okay, sir, I am there.
Yes, yes ma'am. Yes, please
Okay,
start. Good evening ma'am.
very good evening, sir. So, very good evening, one and all. Today we are here in the second day of our training workshop, which is on practical aspects of ICT tools and online teaching in current scenario. And today is day 2. Today we have with us Dr. Aditi Sharma, who will be speaking on outcome based education. We are grateful for you, ma'am, that you have spared your time for us. Dr. Aditi Sharma is a senior member of IEEE who has received the BTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from Modi Institute of Technology and Science, Lakshmangarh, India in 2008 and has also qualified GATE in 2008. She has received her PhD degree from MBM Engineering College, JNVU, India in Computer Science and Engineering in 2018. She is currently working as a postdoctoral fellow in School of Engineering and Digital Science at uh, Kazakhstan in the area of intelligent crypto systems, IoT, and cloud in robotics. She is designated as associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Institute coordinator of Computer Science and Engineering in Parul University, Vadodara. Prior to that, she has worked as an associate professor in ITM Vocational University, Vadodara and Quantum University, Roorkee. She has published 36 research papers in international journals, SCI, ESCI, Scopus, and national and international conferences. Is having 19 patent grants in her credit. Her research area includes cryptography, blockchain, VLSI, cellular automata, machine learning, AI chatbots, IoT, and artificial intelligence. She is the lifetime member of professional bodies such as Cryptology Society of India, IEANG, and Into Women's Society. She is serving as a conference chair, general chair, technical program committee member, and a reviewer in various Springer, IEEE international conferences, CSNT 2022, and many more. She is also working as a university examiner for Rajasthan Technical University, Kota, and Jai Narayan Vyas University, Jodhpur. She has achieved many awards and accolades in her account. Government of India has also given her awards, Parvati Chanda Devi and Gargi Scholarship and awards from Madan Lal Khurana, Sunil Dutt. APJ Abdul Kalam, she has also got Best Teacher Award by Rajasthan Patrika Group. Ma'am, your profile is very vast, and I am graced that you are here with us at Research Foundation of India platform. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. There is one hand raised. So, is there any query in the starting, Dr. Parul Sharda? Okay, you are sorry. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, so far.
Yeah. So let's start. So here, I'm presenting the topic on the outcome-based education. We'll like see what is it, is a vision, mission, program, education, objectives, credit, attributes, and program outcomes. So basically, what we are doing in the outcome-based education, there are mainly four principles of OBE that follows the OBE pyramid. So first of all, we'll see what is education. So education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. So here the emphasis, rather than the acquisition of knowledge, we are emphasizing the learning. So in the current society or in the current scenario, digital era, we are basically working on the learning emphasizing. So there are some philosophical questions in life, which is more important, destination or the journey? Which is the more important, playing well or winning, enjoying or finishing a storybook, or studying or giving exam? So like what, when we are doing all these philosophical questions, then as a teacher, there is main objectives. Are my students learning? What are they learning? How well are they learning? What affects their learning? How much have they learned? Whether they are learning and getting occupied by the society, by the industry. So these are the main agenda which comes out with the outcome based education. So that is the quality of education system that is being judged from the three perspectives. First is the inputs to the system, that is focus on finances, resources, and infrastructure. What happens within the system? Processes used to organize, control, and deliver education. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And screen is properly visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, what happens within the system? Processes used to organize, control, and deliver education and training. The outputs from the system, that is products and results of the education. So that is how we are moderating our education system as the quality of the education system. So here, what exactly outcome based education? What is the definition? So the emphasis in OB system is in measuring outcome rather than inputs. Each education agency is responsible for setting its own outcomes, whether it NBA, whether it's AICT, whether it's an individual organization that is responsible for setting its own outcomes. OBE focusing and organizing an educational system around what is essential for all students to be able to do successfully at the end of their learning experiences. After finishing their learning experiences, it is really measuring their outcomes, what where whether they are skilled employer or skill employee, or just having the degree holders. So this means starting with a clear picture of what is important for the students to be able to do. Then organizing the curriculum, instruction, and assessment to make sure this learning ultimately happens. This is given by 1994 by the SPADI. And another definition is given by Tucker in 2004. So, outcomes based education is a process that involves the restructuring of curriculum, assessment, and reporting practices in education to reflect the achievement of high order learning and mastery rather than the accumulation of course credits. So, what is outcome based education? It's not what we teach. Now, the emphasis is not a teacher, its emphasis is on the learner. Whether a student is a good learner, whether he will be occupied by the industry, whether he is skilled. So, it's not what we teach, it's what you learn. In a nutshell, learner centric approach to tertiary education. So, different views of hobby as a theory of education and a systematic structure for education and as a classroom practice. So, why OB? What are the deficiencies of traditional education? Why we are adopting the outcome-based education system? So, when we are just focusing about the old educational approach, we can see there is a passive learner. Teachers are very active. What teachers are teaching in the classroom, students need to learn only those things. They are OB, our old educational approach is exam driven. If a student is fast, it is assumed that he is a skilled one with a particular subject. It is the rote learning, like what is the bookish knowledge will be delivered to the students. But now the era is changed. All the things are, because at the time when this approach was working, we were not having so much resources. Now the things are very changing rapidly, changing due to the industry 4.0 approach. So this rote learning is now escaped. Syllabus is content based and broken down into the subjects, textbooks bound and teacher centered. Because whatever the teacher is delivering, a student is bound to learn. But now syllabus is rigid and non-negotiable. So we cannot enhance our syllabus. It's not if college is associated with the university, then it is bound to take that syllabus from the university, and university is like proposing that syllabus before 20 years, 25 years, and all the students who are just till generation are taking those subjects are having the emphasis on only those learning process. Teachers responsible for learning, motivation dependent on personality of lecturer. See, when a teacher is standing in the classroom, students are very like convinced with the teacher personality. If a teacher is very favorite to those students, then students are really having good marks in that subject only. So this is a really emphasizing the teacher and teaching personality. But now we are emphasizing the learning perspectives. Motivation dependent on personality of the lecturer, emphasis on what teachers hopes to achieve. Now teachers need to see that what my students need to learn, how I can transform my teaching into the learning process, and how my students can be skilled one to the industry. Content this into the rigid time frame. Curriculum development process not open to public comment, like whatever we have learned so far. So our curriculum was designed in that perspective that no one can claim yes it is right or it is not right, or yes we can extend this curriculum to till this era. But now due to OBE approach, we can just can advancement for from the traditional education. So, in a nutshell, like provides the students with a learning environment with little attention to whether or not students ever learn the material. Students are given grades and rankings compared to each other. Students become exam oriented or CGPA driven. Graduates are not completely prepared for the workforce. Lack of emphasis on soft skills needed in jobs, that is communication skills, interpersonal skills, analytical skills, working attitude. So these are the lacking of the traditional education system, which is need of the OBE. Now, outcome based education. So, if we are talking about the outcome based education, then it is an educational process that focuses on what students can do or the qualities they should develop after they are taught. Like what we are nowadays, we are just focusing on like startup, we are just focusing on the mentoring mentee session, incubators. So, this is like how a student has been developed by to think in the design process, in the thinking process. OB involves the restructuring of curriculum, assessment, and reporting practices and education to reflect the achievement of high order learning and masteries rather than the accumulation of course credits. So, whatever the cross credit is there, but you need to develop the skills like marketing strategy, you need to just like communication skills. So, these are the part. This will be the part of the curriculum. Both structures and the curricula are designed to achieve those capabilities or qualities. Discourages traditional education approaches based on direct instruction of facts and standard methods. It requires that the student demonstrate that they have learned the required skills and content. So there are so many things whether you can judge your students, you can force them participate into the hackathons, boot camps. So these are the new platforms where students are demonstrating their skills, what they are learning. So now we can see outcome based model is like what will learners able to do, How can we assess their ability to do it? What content do we need to teach for learners to demonstrate their learning? In new educational approach, flexible time frames allows learners to work at their own pace, comment and inputs from the wider community is encouraged. Outcomes will be assessed in different ways and, and on an going basis. Assessment is the integral part of the whole system. Students will not get the marks just for remembering the subject contents. Now, the whatever we are memorizing, we are getting the marks. But now the things are changed. What have they learned? What have they have acquiring knowledge into the learning process and the skills? They are getting the marks by that. Different aspects of learners' abilities, such as creativity and critical thinking, will also be assessed. Now, focus and benefits of OBE. So, OBE addresses the following key questions. What do we want the students to have or be able to do? How can we their self students achieve it? How will we know whether the students have achieved it? How do we close the loop for further improvement? That is continuous quality improvement. Like what? Yes, in first year we are targeting the 12th class student, and if we are targeting in the second year, there must be the process of continuous quality improvement. So, what are the benefits of hobby? More directed and coherent curriculum. Graduates will be more relevant to industry and other stakeholders. More well-rounded graduates. Continuous improvement program, quality improvement is in place. Now, expectation on students under OBE, the outcomes. Students are expected to be able to do more challenging tasks other than memorize and reproduce what was taught. So, like what it was like just IITs and IITs student, if I'm talking in the context of Indian scenario, were giving the exercises in the tutorial sheet by the professors now, but this normal organization can do the same exercises for their making their students creative. So, like what if the students in the old in old scenario, there were like questions what the students can memorize and producing their results. But now they can be assigned the more challenging task which was not solved so far. Students should be able to write project proposals, complete projects, analyze case studies, give case presentation, show their abilities to think, question, research, and make decisions based on the finding. See, that is the difference, the current scenario. If we are talking about the PhD scholar or the research assistant, so these tasks will be done by only the PhD or the research scholar. But for the graduate students, they cannot know how to, can't be able to write the project proposals and the analyzing the case studies and now how to do the research. But now the emphasizes the things are like we can moderate our student from the school level education to the graduate level education in the thinking capabilities. Be more creative, able to analyze and synthesize information, able to plan and organize tasks, able to work in a team as a community or in entrepreneurial services teams to propose solution to problems and market their solutions. Now, this is a flow chart, OBE versus traditional education process. So, traditional education process focuses on the inputs. Inputs are maybe like teaching staff, curriculum, labs, other resources. And my process is teaching and learning. And students are as a product unto the graduation. And assessment mainly via exams, tests, assignments, quality control from teaching evaluation. And now the things are changed. See, now the inputs are the teaching staff, curriculum, labs, and other resources. Now the process is teaching and learning. Short-term outcomes, that is program and subject outcomes, are the students at graduation, but the now long-term outcomes are included in the outcomes like program education outcomes, what we can understand as the PEO. Graduates to fulfill stakeholders satisfaction. My stakeholders will be NVA, employers, industry advisors, academic staff, public and parents, students, alumni. So this is how OBE shifts from measuring input and process to include measuring the outcome. So we have included two scenarios: program outcomes, my POs, my SOs, subject outcomes, and then there is a PEOs, program educational outcomes. These three things are till students at graduation were resulting these assessment based policies. Now the long term outcomes also representing the policies: assessment by exam, test and assignments, assessment of teaching staff, lecture material and flow results, and student capabilities. There is short and long term outcomes: lab interview, exit survey, more thinking projects with analysis, feedback from industry, alumni, and other stakeholders, clear continuous improvement step. Now, what are the features of the current OBE approach? Whatever the approach is adopted by the Indian educational system that have the significant approach. First is the focus shifts from teaching to learning. The model has a student-centered learning approach where lecturers act as facilitators, study guides help the learners to organize their learning activities, and group work, continuous assessment, and self-assessment are major features. The framework is holistic in its outcomes focus. Although the learning objectives are aimed at learning at grassroots level, they are linked to goals and aims at higher levels. Attaining learning objectives is therefore not an end in out itself. It provides building blocks for achieving higher level outcomes. It has a design down approach linked to needs and the purpose of the program. Learning content is only selected after the desired outcomes have been specified. Content becomes a vehicle to achieve the desired learning outcomes, which are aimed to inflating a basis for lifelong learning. So this is a lifelong learning where we are the, emphasizing the student as a product and student designing the product for the society. It specifies outcomes and levels of outcomes. Learning objectives are described in terms of Bloom's 1956 cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains and set according to Mazur's 1984 guidelines for formulating objectives. Kondi Suresh has raised his hand. So, like what there is given by the Bloom's taxonomy, how we are approaching from the top level analytical skills from the memorizing the things. So there is the OBE pyramid, what we have discussed so far. So there are approaches of practices, principles, premises, purposes, paradigm. So OBE paradigm shapes decision making and patterns of concrete action. There is a viewpoint what and whether students learn successfully is more important than when and how they learn something. So OBE has the two purposes like is this success for all student and staff. Like what we are not targeting only in the results, we are targeting on our product, that is our student. So ensuring that all students are occupied with the knowledge and competence and qualities needed to be successful after they exist from the educational system. Structuring and operating schools so that those outcomes can be achieved and maximized for all students. In a In a nutshell, these two purposes commit the system to focus on the future performance abilities of students and to establish a success-oriented ways of operating. So there is a clarity of the focus where we are going in our education system from the teacher-centered approach to the student-centered approach. So clarity of focus helps educators establish a clear picture of the learning they want students to know, understand, and be able to do. In other words, teachers should focus on helping students to develop the knowledge, skills, and personalities that will enable them to achieve the intended outcomes that they have been clearly articulated. Student success, the top priority of instructional planning and student assessment. Learners may require different instructional strategies and additional learning opportunities. Most students can achieve high standards if they are given appropriate opportunities. So this is about the how we can transform our students for the industry purpose. So here we are having the outcomes in OBE, a model hierarchy of outcomes. There are the vision and mission of the institutional or the faculty, program educational objectives that are PEO, program outcomes that are PO, learning outcomes that are CO of the subjects. That depends on the individual subjects, and we are targeting are the main vision and the mission of the institution. From the starting from the bottom to top hierarchy, if we are seeing that there is a learning outcomes from the subjects and they are targeting the program outcomes, after that we are targeting the program educational objectives. Ultimately we are achieving the vision and the mission of the institution or the accreditation organization. So this is interrelated and complement each other. So what are the long-term outcomes? My vision and mission of the institution, program educational objectives, and what are the short-term outcomes? That is program outcomes and the learning outcomes of the subjects. Now, why outcome-based accreditation? Now we are into the globalization, and globalization has brought in a clear shift from education as transmission of expert knowledge to education as building learner competencies, including learning to learn and lifelong learning. That means focus will have to be on understanding fundamentals very well and learning new skills or competencies that would enable individuals to cope with the demands of the rapidly changing workplace, prepare global engineers who will have to solve problems and shoulder challenges which are not even known today. So this is the main reason that due to the globalization and factors including into the Industry 4.0 in digital era, we need to build a society to meet the globalization factors. So there are the accreditation criteria, vision and mission and PEOs, program outcomes that is supporting the academic support units and teaching learning process. Program curriculum, student performance, these are the governance and institutional support and financial resources. Faculty contributions, facilities and teaching support, that is the continuous improvement. Now, outcome-based education for outcome-based accreditation. How we are correlating these outcome-based education for outcome-based accreditation. So, education is related to the curriculum. Curriculum is related to the learning and teaching. And now we are just like targeting the assessment. So, what the student should be able to do? That is my attribute. And how to make the student achieve the outcome? By the curriculum and the learning and teaching. Now, how to measure the students that they have achieved the outcome? That is the relation between assessment and the learning and teaching process. Now, the OBE framework. We have the course objectives, program educational objectives, and the outcomes as a mission and vision. That is the institutional outcomes. If there is some lacking between those scenarios in the top-down hierarchy or bottom-up hierarchy, so we can plan our course again for the next syllabi. So course planning and delivery, that is syllabus, teaching methods, learning activities, and assessment tools. What kind of assessment tools we are adopting, what kind of learning strategies we are following, and if there is a lacking in teaching methods or there is a lacking of creation of syllabus, so we can improve our these course planning in the bottom hierarchy. After that, we have course assessment, program assessment, and then institutional assessment. That is the how assessment evaluation has been done in the OBE framework. And these framework having the improvements into the institutional outcomes, and that is meeting the industry and professional organization inputs and feedbacks what industry is demanding right now on these. Now, administrative system for implementation of OBE. that is who are main partners for the designing that OBE system. First of all, the course coordinator, there is module coordinator, program assessment committee, then department advisory board, and then internal quality assurance cell, that is IQAC in an organization. So this is flow chart is given by NBA, National Board of Accreditation in India. So you can escape any module, but this is how the flow chart is going to be from the bottom to top hierarchy. So IQAC is the major part of that body. After that, we have the department advisory board. Then there will be the program assessment committee on the department level. Then there is a program coordinator, and after all, at the lowest part, we have the course coordinator. Now, vision and mission statements. What can be the institutional vision and mission statements that can meet the NBA requirement? So, statements help in defining aspiration and to remain focused. Should be written in a simple language, easy to communicate, and should define objectives which present near future of the institute. Vision statement is dream of where one wants the institute to be and inspires all the stakeholders. Mission statements are actionable statements that guide the stakeholders to act. Now, how to formulate vision and mission statements? So, there is the bottom-up approach. Involve all stakeholders. So, who are the stakeholders? From the students, we have the industry, market, that is the my all stakeholders. Discussion, that is brainstorming, deep analysis or SWOT analysis, my subject writing, observation, and teaching skills. Like challenges before the institute, what are the immediate and long-term goals? Evolve vision and mission statement based on these discussion and strategic plan. Now, as per NBA document, what are the vision and mission statements for an institute? So, vision is a futuristic statement that the institution would like to achieve over a long period of time. So, it may be like 4 years time span, for 3 years time span, depending on the course what you have adopted. And mission is the means by which it proposes to move toward the stated vision. Vision to emerge as one of the nation's finest institutions in the field of technical education and research through focused, effective, and sustained monitoring of its programs and resources. Mission to develop high quality professional ingrained in ethics, wisdom, and creativity for the betterment of the society. This is an example of what NBA has proposed for the vision statement, and we can propose this type of vision and mission for the institute. Now, corrected vision and mission statement for an institute to emerge as one of the nation's finest institution of higher learning in the field of technical education to develop professionals who are technically competent, ethical, environment friendly for betterment of society. Mission accomplish stimulating learning environment for students through quality teaching, research, and outreach activity by providing state-of-the-art facilities, industry exposure, and guidance of the dedicated faculty. Now, for the department-wise vision and mission statements, there are the samples like to be an excellent center for imparting quality higher education in civil engineering for a constantly. See, here we have written the civil engineering. That is the more important which department you are targeting, because we have the keywords in the vision or mission plan. So, for constantly changing social needs with credibility, integrity, and ethical standards. Mission accomplish excellence in curricular or co-curricular activities with a committed faculty through teaching and research, which creates technically competent and dedicated civil engineers to serve their surroundings with pride. Now, program educational objective, that is PEO, the educational objective of an engineering degree program. I have targeting to the engineering degree program. It may be another program, polytechnic program, or any one another rather than technical program. So, are the statements that describe the expected achievements of graduates in their career. and also in particular what the graduates are expected to perform and achieve during the first few years after graduation. The PEOs may be guided by global and local needs, vision of the institution, long-term goals, etc. For defining the PEOs, the faculty members of the program must continuously work with all. Stakeholders are local employers, industry, students, and the alumni. Now, PEO 1. If we are talking about different PEOs, there are I'm targeting about four PEOs here. So, graduate will compete on a global platform to pursue their professional career in electrical engineering and allied disciplines. PEO 2. Graduates will pursue higher education and or engage in a continuous upgradation in of their professional skills. Graduate PO3 graduate will communicate effectively and will demonstrate professional behavior while working in diverse team. PO4 graduates will demonstrate concern for society and environment. See, for PE1, that is related to the my syllabi. Okay. Now PE2, that is related to my skills. PEO3, how I am going to be adopted by this industry. PEO4, how I can demonstrate my skill for the society and the environment. So here, for the civil engineering, I have taken the samples from one slide. So that is PEO1, practice civil engineering in construction industry, public sector, undertaking as an entrepreneur for successful professional career. PEO2, pursue higher education for professional development. PEO3, see, this is not a subject, this is a course. So civil engineering course perspectives, what will be the program educational outcomes. PEO2, pursue higher education for professional development. PEO3, exhibit leadership qualities with demonstrable attributes in lifelong learning to contribute to their social needs. Processes for PEOs. Feedback format for collecting data from the stakeholders, all my stakeholders, a process by which PEOs are created and reviewed periodically, a process to evaluate to what extent PEOs are attained, review, mid correction, and continuous quality improvement program. Program outcomes. Now there is PEO. Now we are just targeting the POs. So POs are statements about the knowledge, skills, and attitudes. That is attributes. The graduate of a formal engineering program should have. Profile of the graduates reads through POs, and that is my target. POs are defined by accreditation agency of the country, that is NBA in India. So these POs are designed by the NBA. Now defining these is the starting point. Now, what is the POs? So we have POs like engineering knowledge. Apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. We have second as the program analysis. So this is how we are acquiring the knowledge from the books, from the internet, from the resources for the memorizing. Now we are having the program analysis, how we are identifying, formulating, review research literature, and analyzing complex engineering problems, reaching substantialized conclusions using first principles of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences. Third is the design development of solutions. Design solution for complex engineering problems and design system components of processes that meet the specified needs with the appropriate consideration for the public health and safety and the cultural, social, and environmental conditions. Dilli Babu has raised his hand. Is there anything? Please write into the chat box. Am I audible properly now?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So, next one is design development of solution. So, like what design solution for complex engineering problems and design system components or processes that meet the specified needs with appropriate consideration for the public health and safety and the cultural, social, and environmental consideration. Next one is conduct investigation of the complex problem. This is the analytical part which can be done only by the few students and by few teachers. So that uses the research based knowledge and research method including design of experiments, analysis and interpretation of data, and synthesis of the information to provide valid conclusions. Next one is modern tool uses that create, select and apply appropriate techniques, resources and modern engineering and IT tools including prediction and modeling to complex engineering activities with an understanding of the limitations. Next one is the engineer and the society. Apply reasoning informed by the contextual knowledge to assess social health, safety, legal and cultural issues and the consequent responsibilities relevant to the professional engineering practice. Next one is environment and sustainability. Understand the impact of the professional engineering solutions in social and environmental contexts and demonstrate the knowledge of and need for sustainable development. Next one is ethics. Apply ethical principles and commit to professional ethics and responsibilities and norms of the engineering practice. Individual and teamwork, that is more important part of our OBE, that is function effectively as an individual and as a member or leader in diverse teams and in multidisciplinary settings. Communication, communicate effectively on complex engineering activities with the engineering community and with society at large, such as being able to comprehend and write effective reports and design documentation, make effective presentation and receive clear instruction. Now, project management and finance, that is demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the engineering and management principles and apply those to one's own work as a member and a leader in a team to manage projects and in multidisciplinary environments. That next one is lifelong learning. Recognize the need for and have the preparation and ability to engage in independent and lifelong learning in the broadcast context of technological change. Now, there are the program specific outcomes. Whatever the program is, that is namely defined by the NBA, civil, mechanical, chemical, computer science. So if we have civil engineering, then program specific outcome. First outcome would be PSO1, able to analyze and design building structural system. PSO2, able to provide design solutions to water supply and sewage system. PSO3, that is able to identify and analyze transportation engineering problems and provide solution for the benefit of society. Why the NBS POs are what are they? So Washington Accord attributes like what in US they have like accreditation by the Washington, and now NBA program has their own outcomes, program outcomes. So according to Washington accreditation, the engineering knowledge, apply knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. And the second one is problem analysis, identify, formulate research literature, and analyze complex engineering problems, reaching substantiation conclusions using first principle of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences. Now, NBA program outcomes are focused on engineering knowledge, which is the same as like Washington accreditation, but they have included that we can apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering. That is similar to that too. So, knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering, fundamentals, and engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. Next one is problem analysis, identify, formulate, research literature. It is the same as whatever Washington accreditation attributes have been defined. Now, attainment of PO1 to PO5. So PO1, we have discussed so far that we are using engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development of solution, conduct investigation of complex problem, modern tool uses. So why place these POs in one basket? See, we have different PO with the different result and the solution. So why we are placing these all POs in one basket? The statement shows that one part, that of complex engineering problem, is common to all. Means whatever the solution is achieving, you are achieving whatever the solution is the part of the complex engineering problem. Though individually each PO deals with the different aspect of CEP. Recognizing this commonality makes the discussion easier. So that is how we are putting all these five POs into the one basket. Now, complex engineering problems. What are the complex engineering problems? Problems not the kind generally encountered at the ends of textbook chapters. These often test if the contents of the chapter have been understood. These are problems that have not been completely framed and leave at least a few choices for the student to make. Problems may require use of laws of physics or being in some mathematical tools in which the problems can be found. Now, what are the course outcomes? So, statements of observable student action that served as the evidence of knowledge, skills, and attitude acquired in a course. In the first PPT, I just defined that we are targeting on the learning process rather than the acquiring of the knowledge, skills, and attitude. Now, this how we are targeting from the outcome based education to the knowledge, skills, and attitudes in a course. Each course is designed to meet about six course outcomes that is defined by the NBA. The course outcomes are stated in such a way that they can be actually measured. POs are attained through program specific core courses. So that is the course outcomes. This is not a good example, but engineering physics. CO1, understand the knowledge of basic quantum mechanics to set up one-dimensional Schrodinger's wave equation and its application to few physical problems. CO2, that is understand the fundamental aspects of crystallography, able to recognize various planes in a crystal and have knowledge of structure determination using X. See, here we are targeting the Schrodinger's wave equation in the physics, and now we are just targeting with the crystallography. And in third, understand the role of the electrons in determining the properties of metals, the concept of Fermi energy. For CEOs having the different targeting objects. So there is another topic, there is another topic, and they are not targeting the in-depth knowledge with the one topic. So understand the basic laser physics, working of lasers, holography, and principle of propagation of light in optical fibers. Understand the theory of free tramp and force vibration of a particle, and also the concept of resonance and its application in ESR and NMR. So here, if we are targeting all these five COs, this is not a good example because we are just targeting the understand. We are not targeting about the application perspective for the just one topic. We are targeting different five topics and different five approach for understanding. So how we can achieve the excellence in our teaching and learning process? This is how we can done by the Bloom's taxonomy. You want your students to achieve. So Bloom's taxonomy is defined into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paradigms, that is remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. These are the six parameters in the Bloom's taxonomy given by the Bloom. So in the first, remembering, recalling information, recognizing, listing, describing, retrieving, naming, and finding. See, there are many subjects there we can only just memorizing the concepts. Okay, we cannot derive the analytical skills or evaluate the skills. So in that we have the remembering, understanding, and applying. So understanding, explaining ideas or concepts, interpreting, summarizing, paraphrasing, classifying, and explaining. Applying, using information in another familiar situation, implementing, carrying out, using, executing. In analyzing, breaking information into parts to explore understanding and relationship, comparing organizing, deconstructing, interrogating, finding, evaluating, justifying a decision or course of action, checking, hypothesizing, criticizing, and experimenting and judging. That is a higher order of thinking from the analyzing. This is the part of those subjects which are really based on the mathematics and the physics concept. And last one is the creating, where we are going to design the new product. So generating new ideas, products, or ways of viewing things, designing, constructing, planning, producing, and inventing. So few subjects can achieve the target till 3, that is applying, and a few subjects which are industry relevant subjects can target the 6 parameters: remembering, understanding, applying, and analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And these all 6 points can be covered by only one course outcomes. So it is how Bloom's level, remember, that is K1, understand K2, apply K3, apply, analyze K4, evaluate K5. So if we are talking about the 4 year syllabi, so first to 3 syllabi is targeting till apply knowledge, engineering knowledge, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamental, and an engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problem. In analyze, program analysis, identify, formulate, review research literature, and analyze complex engineering problems, reaching substantial conclusion using first principle of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences. Evaluate, design or development of solution, that is design solution for complex engineering problems, and design system components or processes that meet the specified needs with appropriate consideration for the public health and safety and the cultural, social, and environmental conditions. So this is how we are just targeting the Bloom's taxonomy after the understanding the concept to the evaluating to the concept into the industry and social consideration. Now, structure of a course outcome. How can we structure our course outcomes? So, course outcome statement may be broken down into two main components. That is an action word that identifies the performance to be demonstrated, learning statement that specifies what learning will be demonstrated in the performance. Exam of good action words to include in course outcome statement, that is compile, identify, create, plan, revise, analyze, design, select, utilize, apply, demonstrate, prepare, use, compute, discuss, predict, assess, compare, rate, critic, outline, or evaluate. So these are the keywords. How can we design our course outcomes for writing into the syllabus? So that is a course title, strength of materials. So if I'm talking about the civil subject, that is strength of materials. That is an example. So that is apply laws of physics. So apply laws of physics. Example, Hooke's law, etc. to compute different types of response, stress and deformation. That is my learning statement and that is my action verb. So these all are the action verb. We can apply, compile, identify, create, plan. So here I'm taking as apply. So to compute different types of response, stress and deformation in the given material. So this is type of response, that is the learning statement. Analyze, structural, that is PO1, is analyze structural elements for different core systems to compute design parameter, design compression elements using engineering principle to resist any given loads, conduct experiments to validate physics, physical behavior of material and components, prepare laboratory reports on interpretation of experimental results. Now, how can we assess and do assessment? It is one or more processes that identify, collect, and prepare data to evaluate the achievement of course outcome and program outcome. So, for we have the 12 POs and COs. So, we can have the task, assignments, lab. How can test you are taking? How many? If we are taking 4 tests, how how many assignments you are doing? So these are the direct tools, labs, seminars, industrial training projects, and rubrics. Indirect tools, that is course and survey. exit survey, faculty survey, alumni survey, and program statistics. Now, CO-PO relationship. Each CO can be identified to address a subset of POs. Based on the number of COs and the sessions dedicated to them, it is possible to identify the strength of mapping to POs. Based on these strength of selected POs, a CO matrix can be established. So when we are designing CO POs and then after PEOs, so there is a matrix correlation. This is how the matrix is going to be. So this is like course analysis of structure and environment and engineering. If I have designed COs and like 12 POs, so which kind of COs is meeting to PO1? Is it like Bloom's taxonomy 3 that is applied? This 3 is related to the Bloom's taxonomy. If it is 1, it means PO4 is for the remembering concept. So this is how we are targeting to the matrix. Alignment of assessment to COs and hence to POs. So, like if we are targeting the course concrete technology, for the example, one topic mixed proportioning. So, mixed proportioning is a process of arriving at suitable proportions of the concrete ingredients based on their characteristics to achieve desired strength and durability characteristics of concrete. Here, students will have the freedom of selecting different types of cements, aggregates, admixtures to arrive at a given grade of concrete, say M40. To introduce complexity, students can be asked to provide solution for the same M40 grade concrete but to be used in different field conditions such as hot weather concreting, underwater concreting, mass concreting, high early strength requirement in say 3 days. So this is how we are differentiating our just curriculum, just bookish knowledge to the industry knowledge. So PO1, like that is engineering knowledge, apply the knowledge of mathematics. That is why. Example situation one, CO3, able to understand mixed proportioning techniques for field application. Assessment for CO3, question in test, briefly explain the various method of mixed proportioning techniques. Does this CO reflects the intended measurement from PO1? Does the assessment correlates well with the CO, that is mapping of CO3 to PO1? In this case, CO does not reflect the intention of measuring application of either science, mathematics, or engineering principle. It is a field knowledge. So it can measure only remembrance in the topic. Further, the assessment does not test the requirement of application of engineering principle used in mixed proportioning as per PO1. Hence, the correlation between PO is weak. So PO2, like problem analysis, identify, formulate, review research literature. So example situation 2, now CO3 able to apply mixed proportion of principles to design a, here we are designing a concrete mix for field application. So proportion concrete mix for M40 grade concrete by IS method, given data is this. So if CO reflects the intended measurement from PO2, does the assessment correlates well with the CO? That is my major question. So CO3 is targeting to PO2. In this case, the assessment does not test the student's ability to identify or formulate, just they are calculating. We are applying the mathematics. So that is the second part, to formulate and do some research for arriving at a suitable concrete mix for a given situation, since many variables of the design have already been identified in the problem. And hence the strength of mapping of CO3 for PO2 in the above example cannot be considered too good. At best, it can map well for PO1 as it involves application for engineering fundamentals. Another PO3, so how we are designing the development of the solution, able to analyze characteristics of mixed constituents and design a concrete mix for field application. So assessment, ABC construction company is entrusted with the manufacturing of precast elements for elevated expressway. The precast elements are required to attend 40 MPa in 7 days. So design a mix for least cost. So how we are, and this is the requirement for IS 10260 when we are targeting the industry requirement. So CO reflects the intended measurement from PO2 and PO3, and is this correlated to the CO? So yes, students are expected to identify and formulate various design parameters such as type of cement which can be used for release strength gain, water content, workability requirement to manufacture such as precast elements. They are also required to look for specification as per the codal provisions and then apply engineering principle. This is a particular subject example, and we need to see every subject for such examples. The assessment correlates well with the CU and hence maps strongly for the PO2 and the PO3. So CO are the situation one, whether we are able to understand mixed provisioning. So this is the understanding. Situation two, able to apply and design to a concrete mix for the field application. Situation three, that is able to analyze characteristics of mixed constituents and design a concrete mix for the field application. So choice of writing an appropriate CO and choosing the right assessment to make corresponding PO remains with the course instructor. So how we are just targeting example of CEO attainment of a course. So this is my like this is example. So here we have course name, course, session of course, and LTP, lecture and tutorial and practical, semester credits and batch. So here we are having CO1, CO2, and CO3 and CO4. So what is my assessment? Here we are having the metrics like how much we have attended, like 77% to 80%. So this is the score of grading 50, and we are average grading of 2.78. So targeting greater than and equals to 70%. So this is like a student's grading based on the CO attainment for a course. So this is how we are targeting the CO attainment for a course. And now the CO attainment assessment should be in alignment with the COs. Question paper should be set of assesses all COs. There may be course outcomes strategy in the question paper too. The average marks obtained in assessment against items for each CO will indicate the CO attainment. Instructors can set targets for each CO of his or her course. Attainment gaps can therefore be identified. Instruction can plan to reduce the attainment gaps or enhance attainment targets. So this is how PO1 is achieved 57%, that is less than 70%. So we are just watching that how the CO attainment is corresponding to the POs. Now this is just examples I have taken so far from other like courses. So PO attainment, all POs can be adequately addressed through the selection of course and their COs. Attainable targets can be selected for each of the CO. If assessment is in alignment with the COs, the performance of the student indicates a CO attainment. These measurements provide the basis for continuous improvement in the quality of learning. So continuous improvement, closing the loop at course level, program level, and the institute level ensures quality assurance for stakeholders. All attainment analysis is made to provide continuous improvement through either in the course delivery, assessment, and the curriculum. That is the essence of outcome-based education. This is another example I have taken, and I think now the time is. If time permits me, then I can take this example. This is another program outcomes for BE Engineering Electronics measuring in microwave and communication. So the instructor has designed the program outcomes as ability to acquire and apply fundamental principle of science and engineering, capability to communicate effectively, acquisition of technical competence in specialized area of engineering discipline, ability to identify, formulate, and model problems and find engineering solution based on a system approach, ability to conduct investigation and research on engineering problems in a chosen field of study. So this is the short-term outcomes. And now, if we are targeting the sixth, that is understanding of the importance of sustainability and cost effectiveness in design and development of engineering solutions, understanding and commitment to professional and ethical responsibilities, ability to work effectively as an individual and as a member leader in a team, ability to be a multi-skilled engineer with good technical knowledge management, leadership and entrepreneurial skills, awareness of the social, cultural, global and environmental responsibility as an engineer, capability and enthusiasm for self-improvement through continuous professional development and lifelong learning. So how we are targeting our program education objectives to the description of how POs are linked to the PEOs to produce all-rounded engineers in the telecommunication technologies in support of the emerging ICT industry. To develop capable technical leaders who are able to spearhead the advancement of telecommunication in the country. So, description how PO ability to acquire and apply fundamental principle of science and engineering. The graduates have formed fundamental knowledge and therefore can easily understand and adapt any changes in the technology. This will ensure that the graduates will be of high caliber, equipped with the fundamental technical principles of science and engineering so that they can lead, facilitate, and support the development of engineering practice in the industries in Malaysia or something like whether the industries are situated. Capability of communicate effectively. Communication and networking skills are enhanced through presentations, exchanging ideas, and arguing with solid rationale. To be a good leader, effective communication is a must related to PEOs and 1 and 2. Now, next one is the core subjects contribute towards PEOs, ability to acquire and apply fundamental principle of science and engineering. So these are the core subjects on mathematics 1 to 4, or whatever the circuit theory, electronics, computer and program design, field theory, digital logic design, data structure, algorithms, microprocessor, control theory, communication network, electromagnetic inference, introduction to power system. So basic concepts and theories and their rationale to actual engineering systems are applied and studied in the final year project and in the still training. Extensive laboratory experiments to provide in-depth practical knowledge and hands-on experiments to students. So if we are targeting the digital logic design, it may have the another learning objectives like describe the difference between analog and digital system and their advantage and disadvantage. Positional notation applying number system. Now applying the positional notations and number system and computer codes and digital system. Applied algebraic methods based on Boolean algebra and truth table to analyze the logic circuits. Apply minimization methods such as chronograph maps, Keynes, Maplowski tabular method to simplify switching functions. Apply the concept of sequential logic and memory devices in digital systems. Design modular combinational circuits using encoders, decoders, and multiplexer and demultiplexer. So this is how the course outcomes is having targeting the PO 11 till PO 11. So this is performance criteria what we have discussed so far, so that we can like having the proposing the ideas. We can have the oral and visual communication, respond to audience questions correctly. So this is so how we are stakeholders meeting with the mission and vision of the CQ1 CQI, that is continuous quality improvement, that is program objectives, program outcomes, learning of outcomes of the subject, and assessment, and then analyze. That is related to the outcome based problems. So, outcome based education, say what you want, do what you say, prove it, and then improve it. This is the cyclic process. So, that is how we are going for the outcome based education. Now, what are the role of the lecturers? So that is review PEOs, course structure and syllabi, teach the relevant engineering, maths and other relevant subjects, conduct relevant tutorials and laboratory practical sessions, give appropriate guide on assignments and projects, conduct empirical measurement of POs, prepare the required documentation, assure ESC and public on the standard of our graduates, obtain and maintain accreditation from EAC through continuous quality program. Now, what are the role of the students? Now, know the required program outcomes and program objectives. For each course, review the learning outcomes at the beginning of each trimester. This gives you an idea of the knowledge and skills expected from a particular course. Be more proactive in the learning process. This is not a passive learning, this is an active learning. To acquire the learning outcomes of the subject, demonstrate through the assessment method that the required skills and knowledge have have been required. Attend the program outcomes and program objectives as a whole during the entire program. Give constructive feedbacks on the program, course, academic staff to obtain accreditation through active participation in online teaching evaluation, academic advisory system, dialogue session with dean, etc. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aditi. It was a very informative session. And nowadays, as we see that NBA and NAC is accreditation is very important for the institutes, and we see that in universities and in higher education institutes, these program outcomes and outcome-based education plays an important role. So overall, your presentation was very informative, and we too have implemented these POs and COs in our institute, and uh, these things really helps a lot. In fact, we see that after the implementation of national education policy and after the implementation of choice based credit system, a lot of things have changed. When we were the students and now when we are teaching the students, lot of things has been changed. But looking into the current demand, we can say, of the industry, these changes are important because transformation and the changes needs to be implemented frequently so that we can also keep up the pace with higher education system which is being implemented in globally. So thank you so much, Dr. Aditi. It was really very informative session, and I hope all our participants have enjoyed a lot and they have learned a lot. And to all the participants, I wish to convey that this session was live at Facebook and also at YouTube. You can access the session and the details if you want to go through again. And daily the links has been posted in the WhatsApp group. You can access the links and you can access all the sessions through live sessions. And on behalf of a team RFI, on behalf of Dr. Saurabh Jain, Dr. Ajay Jain, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, and all the chapter heads, all the state heads, I wish again a very thank you to to Dr. Aditi ma'am, and thank you ma'am for sparing your valuable time and sharing your information with us. Thank you so much,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am. Thank you, Parul ma'am, and thank you, Dr. Ajay, that inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge on the such platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Dear participants, the link of tomorrow's session will be posted in the group. So please stay tuned and join on time so that you can get the information. You can get all the information promptly. Thank you so much.